My name is Commissioner Frank Avila, and I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And today, the name of our show is New Hope Community Food Pantry. And it's sponsored by New Hope United Methodist Church, located in Norwood Park, the far northwest side of Chicago. And today, I have with me Bill Murphy, the director of the New Hope Community Food Pantry. And the reason why they started the food pantry, and I was talking with Bill before the show, is because of what Matthew said in the Bible, chapter 25, verses 35 through 36. For when I was hungry, you gave me food. When thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was a stranger, you took me into your home. When naked, you clothed me. When I was ill, you came to my help. When in prison, you visited me. And this is why New Hope United Methodist Church started the food pantry. Correct. And Bill, what is your background in the area of food pantry, soup kitchens, etc.?
Well, I've been involved with food distribution programs of one kind or another for almost 22 years. I started with the board of directors at Irving Park Community Food Pantry, serving on the board while I was working full-time. Held positions such as secretary, vice president, president. Then when I retired, I went back and volunteered for them on Wednesdays. They're open 9 to 12:30 every Wednesday. I also worked with the Irving Park Community Soup Kitchen at the Baptist Church there for about 4 years, and with the soup kitchen at the Temple downtown on Tuesdays, Tuesday mornings. They served lunch there, and I did that until 2004 when our food pantry opened and I had to give it up.
Now, you mentioned, you said two things, food pantry and soup kitchen. Now,
yes.
Now they're two different things, right?
Completely different things.
Yeah, food pantry and, could you explain the difference of food pantry and soup kitchen?
Okay. A food pantry provides, in our case, an emergency supply of 3 to 5 days worth of non-perishable and some perishable products, some meats and things like that, and things that they can't get with the link cards or food stamps, paper products, soap, shampoo, necessary things to life, but they can't get them with the link cards, so we try and provide those.
And that's a food pantry.
That's a food pantry.
As versus a soup kitchen.
A soup kitchen provides a hot meal usually. The one that I worked with at the Temple provided either a hot meal or a bag lunch for a lot of the messenger boys that are running around on bicycles downtown.
Yeah.
They came in and grabbed a bag lunch, which had a sandwich and a can of fruit and some cookies and whatnot, so that they could continue to work but still have a meal at lunchtime.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that. We all need some type of help.
Right.
Because of the way the economy is, the way the inflation is going, the way the cost of food going up.
Mm-hmm.
So at New Hope United Methodist Church, how long did it get for you to get started in your food pantry?
Well, we joined New Hope in 2002, my wife and I.
2002?
And at that time, they were in the process of remodeling the church, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes.
And they wanted to open a soup kitchen. So a group of us, myself being one, investigated what was required to open a soup kitchen.
A soup kitchen?
A soup kitchen, which would be the hot meal.
You would think in Norwood Park, the far northwest side of Chicago, you're located at 7150 West Hood, right off of Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
That who would need a soup kitchen or food pantry? So you and your wife went there to set that up then?
Well, we didn't really go there to set it up, but we were involved in the setting up of it because of my previous background with pantries and kitchens. Yeah. We drove around the neighborhood and noticed there were people sleeping in the park.
In the park?
In the park. There were people running around with shopping carts full of all of their possessions, homeless.
Homeless in Norwood Park?
In Norwood Park.
Because, you got Norwood Park. Mm-hmm. I would say it's a middle or above middle type income bracket.
Probably above, right? As far as.
And then right next door to Norwood Park, you got Edison Park.
Mm-hmm.
and right up your little west, you got Park Ridge. So you know it's
somewhat affluent
yeah,
area.
affluent. I mean, not millionaire.
Not all of it.
Right, right. And
that's the
and
problem.
you would never think that, as you mentioned, you and your wife went traveling around and saw homeless in the park, people with their carts, carrying their carts, picking up whatever they could pick up and sell. So after you drove around, then what?
Well, we investigated what was required to open the soup kitchen because they were in the process of remodeling, so we wanted our kitchen to be set up so that we could meet all of the legal requirements for a soup kitchen. And I contacted the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and they suggested we get our feet wet by opening a food pantry, which is a much easier operation than a soup kitchen.
And the Greater Food Depository is the main group that supplies food to all the food pantries throughout the Chicago
to its member agencies, yes.
Yes. And so they suggested a food pantry. Because they probably had the experience on.
Well, we're much more familiar with it than I was.
So you joined the church in 2002. So from 2002, how long did it take you to get started? Getting all the paperwork in order and all your rooms together.
Storage,
yes.
We opened in November of 2004. November 16th.
So it'll take over a year and a half, a couple of years, just to get the idea going.
Well, and to get contributions to be able to distribute. Because initially we just contacted other churches and the schools and stuff asking for donations of food and non-perishable.
So it takes that long because you had to get the approval from not only from the city. Was that a county or a state or federal requirements also? No. Well, only the city regulations. And so what were the obstacles opening this type of ministry? Because, you know, New Hope is a Methodist church. They have social justice in your church.
Oh, yes.
They have other things that they do throughout the community. And here was a new mission that they're going to start, a food pantry. And so what obstacles did you face?
Surprisingly, not very many.
Not very many?
The Ministerial Association was behind us almost 100%.
Yeah.
There were a few that thought there was no real need for a, quote, food pantry there.
Because of the area where you live in.
But as they started talking amongst themselves, they realized that more and more people were coming to them asking for assistance, either monetarily or food or whatever. And they thought maybe the community food pantry would be the best solution to the problem for everyone.
And when you mentioned community food pantry, what area does that community cover?
Originally, we started out thinking we were only going to serve 60631 zip code.
And 60331, well, that's my zip code.
Right.
And I live in Edison Park. And in Norwood Park and Edison Park, it's like living in the suburbs, predominantly single-family residents.
A lot of them, yes.
Yes.
But when I started working with the depository, I found out that there was no one serving 60630,
60630,
60646, and 60656. The four zip codes all abut each other, and so we're serving the four of them.
The four zip codes. That's a large area.
It's very large.
So probably in the city of Chicago, up in the far northwest side, you're probably about the only type of food pantry there might be. I haven't heard of any other food pantry up that far northwest.
The Salvation Army on, what is it, Cumberland and Foster?
Yes.
They have one.
They have one?
And the rest of them are all either south or east of us, I think.
Yeah, because Edison Park, where I live, we're right there at the borders of the city of Chicago. To the north of us is Niles, to the west of us is Park Ridge.
Right.
And I just heard that Park Ridge wants to set up a homeless shelter. And I would never realize that Park Ridge would have homeless community up there.
And until you go out and look around the neighborhood, really, you don't realize that there are people that are homeless.
And so you and your wife just did a drive-by through the parks. It wasn't no scientific or survey or anything, just driving around saying, yep, we need a food pantry.
Right.
Well, so sometimes it's better doing that than making a survey.
I think so.
Now, has the food pantry been successful, do you think? Now, because right now, what, you've been in existence now, you've got
little over 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yeah.
So you think it's successful, or you think...
Well, that first November, we started the 16th, so there were 3 Tuesdays that we were open.
3 Tuesdays? Okay.
Mm-hmm. We served 5 families. I think there were 12 or 13 people in those 5 families.
5 families only?
Yeah, in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
Right.
Now,
So,
how did you get the word out that you had a food pantry?
we tried to get publicity in the local newspapers, which we did, and word of mouth.
Word of mouth?
Got notified all the churches and schools in the area that we were opening.
Yeah, because, you know, living up in Norwood Park, Edison Park, in that area, you would think that if a person needs help, that they would be embarrassed to go and say, look, I need help, I need food, where can I get assistance, talk to their next door neighbor, or, say, look, I'm broke, I have no money, and maybe that's a family that have kids, we have to eat. So do you find this attitude when you first started? Are you finding this attitude?
There was some of that, but now through word of mouth from our current clients, notifying other people that they know that are in need.
Yes.
And we have a fairly good reputation with our clients, I think, a fairly good rapport. We try to treat them as dignified as possible, give them as much choice as possible, not just fill a bag of food and hand it to them,
I think that's very important, that when people come and ask for help, you treat them with dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's caring. You show that you're New Hope United Methodist Church is a caring type of church.
We try to be.
Now, when they come, you open. What did you give out in November when you first started, as compared to now that you're giving out? You must change, or maybe
it's changed considerably. When we first started, everything was donated by various churches, yours included.
And it was churches combined of not only Methodist, the Catholic Church.
Presbyterians.
What are some of the Catholic church in the area?
IC.
Immaculate
Conception. St. Mary of the Woods.
St. Mary of the Woods. And that's up in Edgebrook.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in 60646.
Okay,
I think those are the 2 main Catholic churches. But
and then the high school is probably helping with Resurrection.
Resurrection High School, the IC grade school, grammar school, the Norwood Park grammar school.
Yes.
Presbyterian Church, St. Albans Episcopal. Almost all of the churches in our area are helping in one way or another. The Edison Park Lutheran Church.
Yes. So they all see there's a need, because in their church
somebody was coming asking for money,
they may
or
have
something.
people that needs help, and then now they have a resource.
Right.
That say, look, we know we can help in this area, but in other areas we have New Hope that could help in the food pantry. Well, that's now. So that's so when you gave food out in November, what changes have you made till now?
Well, after the beginning of the year, January of 2005, I started attending classes with the Greater Chicago Food Depository so that we could join them and receive food from them at a very reasonable rate, 7 cents a pound for anything, because it's donated to them.
Okay.
And I had to attend 7 or 8 classes there before I was eligible to join the depository, and then that made a big difference in the amount of food and the type of food that we could give out to clients, because they provided meat and dairy and things like that we couldn't get in donations.
Just by joining the Greater Chicago Food Depository allowed you to give more food.
Much more food.
And that's excellent, because every time that I come in and drop off our food, I see on the table Panera on one side, Whole Foods on the other side, and they're providing the bread. and also when you have shelves of all canned foods, and that's all from the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Yes. The thing we've just recently started is the 2 shelves. We call it the corner grocery.
The corner grocery?
We have various products, various fruits and vegetables, and allow people choice.
Choice.
Which is much more respectful than us throwing items into a bag and handing it to them.
Well, that's excellent, because so a family of 1, a family of 2, or husband and wife and their kids, they could go to that shelf and just
we tell them how much they can have based on the size of their family.
Oh, that's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent. Now, just by having this food pantry, what are you going to spin off of this food pantry?
Well, as you know, we just started a board in April. Matter of fact, I think the 21st. Anyway,
of April.
Late April.
And folks, they called me up and they said, "Frank, would you be on the board?" Right. And I said, "Yes, I'll be on the board."
So it's somewhat will be up to the board, but I will make recommendations, and one of them is I still would like to see a community soup kitchen.
A soup, and then there is a need for a soup kitchen.
Right, but there's a lot involved in that.
Yes.
To get there.
Right, and a lot of volunteers. So if anyone out there that's watching this show that wants to volunteer for the New Hope Community Food Pantry and the start of the soup kitchen, you could call Bill Murphy.
Yeah.
And he'll be happy to take you in, because they do need volunteers. Yes. Because you have grown from, you mentioned you had 5 families in 2004.
In November of 2004 when we opened.
How many families do you have now?
260 families, over 700 people, 703 or 4 people in those families. Now, they don't all come every month.
Yes, I understand, yeah.
Our clients are very good about, if they don't really need the food, they leave it there for those that do.
Okay. Oh, so
they'll skip a month or 2 here and there when they are able to.
It shows that when a person needs more help, though the type of people that needs more help are the ones that give more help.
That's true. Very true.
And it's amazing how human nature is. That we all need help, and we're all considerate.
At one time or another.
Yes, at one time. So what needs to happen to realize your future plan?
If the board goes along with it, to establish the soup kitchen, we need to have 2 people trained in food sanitation and food handling.
And your board is made up of many of the churches in the community.
Representatives from the churches that support us and the high school, Resurrection High School.
And we're talking about Norwood Park.
And Edison.
We're talking about Edison Park and Edgebrook.
And I guess I'm still in Norwood Park, even though I'm 60656.
I see. So in those areas, you have majority of the churches, majority of the schools,
right,
are participating in the food pantry.
They sure are.
And so to start a kitchen, that you need to have 2 volunteers to take classes.
Yes.
And who gives the classes?
The Depository offers classes. Some of the I think there's a culinary institute or something that offers the food sanitation classes also.
Is it the food sanitation and cooking, or do you expect a person to cook?
There would have to be cooks there, but we have to have 2 certified food sanitation people there to tell us how to handle the food properly.
Oh, how to handle the food. And right. How long is that course?
Whew, that's a good question. I really don't know.
Okay. Well, that's one of the things that the board will have to find out.
Right.
And
I could tell them. I get information from the Depository on it every time they have it, and they have it about twice a year.
And so when New Hope did the remodeling, New Hope United Methodist Church did the remodeling. They did the remodeling
in the kitchen.
Anticipating
to meet the qualifications for soup kitchen.
And that's excellent, because I think in the area when I come in and drop off the food, I think you could easily feed about how many, 50 people? Or
Oh, easily.
Easily.
Probably closer to 75 or so. And then
75.
there's the other room where we have our holiday distributions where we could serve even more.
Now, is it difficult to get donations for the food distribution program? I mean, you're getting food from various groups. You're getting food from the Greater Chicago Food Depository, but you said they charge 7 cents a pound, which is a very low rate. Yeah,
because the food is donated to them.
Yeah. So is it difficult now, or do you find more stores contributing now?
No, it's a lot of individuals, the churches, the stuff we get from the depository, and then I buy fresh produce like potatoes, onions, apples, bananas, oranges, that type of stuff. So they get some fresh stuff.
Some fresh stuff.
Rather than just the canned.
Okay, now when you buy that, how do you get the money to buy it?
From donations. We have
donations?
individual donors. We have political. Some of the politicians have been very good to us.
And
the churches collect money for us also.
And I have a little brochure. It's right here, and this is what they have. They call it New Hope Community Food Pantry, and it's feeding the hungry in Northwest Chicago.
Correct.
And you have a couple of names that are supporting the pantry, and I like to read them.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Norwood Park Area Churches. So the churches in Norwood Park, the Norwood Park Clergy Association. You got the Northwest Chicago Crop Walk,
right?
And you're starting the crop walk. When's
the one that's coming up is the Hunger Walk, the Depository's Hunger Walk.
Okay, and people, if they want to contribute, they could go on this walk, and that's coming up, right?
Right, June 14th.
June 14th, and then you got Panera Bread of Park Ridge. You got Whole Foods. You got Greater Chicago Food Depository, which we mentioned, and you even have here. Senator James DeLeo.
Yes, he's been very good to us.
Has he been very good? And so you have and a money a lot of other
individual.
Support. Yes. Now here you got items needed. Some of the items needed: canned food, canned fruit. Are these? Do you get these from the Greater Food Depository, or
sometimes when they have them?
When they have them. And then you got canned vegetables, and it's on the TV screen now, tuna, pork and beans, dried beans. Besides food, you get toilet paper, bar soap, baby food.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they can't get with Link or what used to be food stamps.
Oh, they cannot get that with food stamps?
No, they can buy nothing that's not edible.
Edible? Okay, and this is what you're provided then?
We try to.
That's excellent. Paper towels, toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, and shampoo. So it's a whole range.
Yes.
And they could come Tuesday.
From 9:30 to 11:30, Tuesday.
Any Tuesday, they could come there. And now when they come, what would they expect? And what do you expect when they come?
I'm not sure what they originally expect the first time they come in. I know they are somewhat embarrassed, I think, to admit they have to ask for help. But after they've been there a time or two, it's like we're old friends. We know each other by first names.
That's excellent. Yeah. Because I really don't know how I would feel, or especially my wife, how she would feel if let's say, unfortunately, we're down and out and don't have much money, and we would have to go to a food pantry.
Right.
We would we would like to go to a place where they treat us with dignity, and we won't be ashamed.
We try to, very much. We try to treat them with respect, and like I said, now we're trying to give them more choice with the little corner grocery, the 2 shelves that we've got.
Yes, and in your flyer, you also part of your mission, it reads, "We seek to feed the hungry and share resources to improve the quality of life for those in need."
Correct.
And that goes with the verse out of Matthew chapter 25, verse 35 to 36, where he says, "For when I was hungry, you gave me food. When thirsty, you gave me drink." That's excellent. Now, what would, let's say, New Hope United Methodist Church, let's say something happens to it. what would happen with the food pantry?
Well,
You know,
we'd have to probably look for another place.
yeah, look for
But
another
I
place.
think we would still try to continue in operation.
Yeah, because the church and the food pantry
Are separate.
are separate.
The church provides us with space
Okay, space
and storage.
and storage.
And so far, they've provided us with the electricity for the refrigerators and freezers, and
Yes,
we haven't contributed much to the church.
I see. Now you mentioned refrigerator and freezers. Whose freezer and refrigerator are you using?
Well, the refrigerator we're using is actually the church's. The
church's.
freezers are the pantries.
The pantry?
Right.
Because you showed me the amount of food that was in that freezer. I mean,
Right.
You have you give out turkey.
Well, it depends. We try to give out at least 3 kinds of meat, if not
Three
more.
kinds of meat?
Right.
Every Tuesday to families that need it, or
Right,
to anyone
right.
that needs it. Okay.
There's almost always ground beef, chicken of some kind, and then right now we've got a lot of little packages of fish that they're getting, and some prepared like microwavable meals.
Yeah, because it says there that we provide a 3 to 4 day supply of food to families in need once
Once
per
a
month.
month.
Now, and you mentioned here, because this is what we're reading in the paper all the time, that we have to have a well-balanced diet.
Mhm.
And you try to provide this because this supplements some of
Right.
their meals there. And so this is what you try and work towards.
Right.
And now, who goes down to the Greater Food Depository and pick up that food? Who goes down and picks up the bread at Whole Foods? I mean, do you have a person late at night picking up food? Because, Tuesday morning you got to have food there.
Right.
So when do you pick up that food and who does it?
Okay, we did pick up Paneras on Monday night when they
night?
closed.
Yeah.
But recently they were robbed,
Okay.
and so they switched us to Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning?
So now we've got to pick it up about 7 o'clock on Tuesday morning.
To be ready at 9:30. Oh, that takes a lot of volunteers.
Whole Foods is the same. We
Same
pick
way?
that up on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Stuff from the depository, we're lucky in my connections with Irving Park. They have a big truck, and so they pick up our food for us and when they go pick up their own on Mondays. And then we just have to go over to Irving Park and pick it up and bring it back to the pantry.
That's excellent. New Hope United Methodist Church is doing an excellent job along with the other churches.
Yes.
And you have every denomination in the area.